is the ribbon. Ribbons are, I don't know about you. I say that in a lot of videos. I don't know about you, but anyway, the point of the matter is ribbon. I don't know about you, but I have always wanted a synthesizer with a big, huge ribbon on it. And to my knowledge, Yamaha was really the only company that was really excited about putting ribbons on keyboards. They obviously, the CS80 had one. There's at least one YC series organ that has one. Ribbons are cool, even if they just control pitch, because who doesn't want to do a big, giant, pitch bend without having to, I'm not a big fan of wheels. It's not really a great interface for me. Anyway, the point is ribbons are cool, and a lot of synthesizers that I wish had them do not have them. So one of the problems with ribbons is now someone's like, oh, I'm going to have to write down the minutes where the music actually starts. You go for it, buddy. One of the problems with ribbons is that it is hard to create an interface that you constantly rub with your finger that doesn't break down after time, which is certainly a problem with the sort of felt-like ribbons on the CS80, even the ribbons on vintage Moog modular stuff. It's really easy to kind of wear those down. You've undoubtedly seen on a Moog Micro Moog, the pitch ribbon. Those often get really beat up. It's because people constantly rub them. And when you constantly rub something, it, falls apart. Arturia, here's the point of this really long historical story. Arturia has done something interesting. I'm pretty sure that this is a capacitive ribbon that exists inside this block of wood. So as you rub it with your finger, you're just rubbing wood, and wood is very durable as far as rubbing it with your finger. So this is a really durable implementation. Also, it's kind of cool because it's not so obvious. Like, I remember when I was first seeing pictures of the PolyBrute and I heard that it had a ribbon, I'm like, no, it doesn't. Where is it? But it's just this very understated trough in the wood here. Okay, so let's say you're a person who wants to use a ribbon on the PolyBrute. This is the point. What is this? Where are we at? Like 3 minutes, 42 seconds. Someone put it in the comments. Okay, now we get to the ribbon. So if you wanted to use this ribbon, you have to go into your mods to use it. The default setting for channel 1 is pitch. So let's have some fun and connect the ribbon to pitch. The ribbon control can be found on line K along with the Y-axis of the morph. So let us control the pitch with the ribbon. Okay, you might notice, I don't know if you can see in the video, but there is a line right here to show you where the center of the ribbon is, which will become relevant. Okay, so or cool. Of course, I have this set like as high as you possibly can. You don't need to have it set that high. You may have noticed while I've been playing, it gives you an indication of when the ribbon is being used in your window up here, which is helpful because you can see where you're at. Okay, so one of the things about this particular, so this ribbon has a lot of some settings. It has, this ribbon is a ribbon you can set the controls on. I can think of a certain other ribbon on a certain other synthesizer that is set to a different setting than this ribbon is currently set to permanently, which creates some interesting things if you're using it to control pitch. In this case, like the pitch returns to 0 at the line on this particular setting that we're using. So if you don't want to hear it return to 0 as you're playing it, you're going to have to lift up your hand that's playing keys before you lift up your finger from the ribbon to make that not happen. Anyway, so that's our first setting. How do we set the different settings on the ribbon, you might ask? Well, it's the same way we do with many things. Hold the settings button and then just tap the ribbon. And then we get this window that comes up, ribbon modes. We've been in the tap mode, and the characteristics of the tap mode are it's at 0 in the center of the ribbon. It returns to 0 when you're done doing whatever you're doing. And that's the tap mode. Now there is another mode called hold. Now pitch is really fun, but let us do something different for hold. Here's what I'm going to do for hold. I'm going to change this sound. And then I'm going to use the morph to create a different sound. Okay, so we have two different sounds. Okay, so let us go back to the mod section and let us assign 3 to morph. And we'll deactivate it controlling the pitch, and we'll have it control the morph. Okay, so now we are not only having the ribbon controlling the morph, but the ribbon itself is set to a setting called hold. So here's what happens. Let's use the ribbon here. What I just did is I went from A all the way to B, and I lifted my finger, and now it's on B. We can go back to A. Or anywhere in between. So if you wanted to move back and forth between morph or 2 filter settings or really or anything else and hold at various points along the breadth of that control, you can use the ribbon to do it, which is really cool. You might notice that I'm only using the positive side in this particular function. It only works on the positive side, the right side of the ribbon. I'm not sure why. There's probably some reason that someone will put in the comments that is super obvious. What happens if we do it negative? Yeah, there we go. Controlling the morph with the ribbon seems to work only in one direction or another. I've tried setting it in the center. Let's see what happens. In the center, it doesn't entirely work. So yeah, anyway, this is a bit of a diversion. In any case, you can use the ribbon to basically store settings or have a change happen and stay where you've put it, which is pretty cool. Of course, if you have this set to pitch, it might generate some problems for you at some point. Because you might find yourself in a different key and then forget you're there. So that is a possibility. Okay, let's get back to the ribbon settings. Then we have scan. What scan does is scan runs the whole length of the ribbon, and in this case, I think we will see that. The difference in scan is that it does not start at 0. On the other setting, like tap, if you press up high and it's set to control the pitch, you're going to get, suddenly it's going to be high. This setting, scan, starts wherever you lay your finger down and goes from there. So if I play a chord and I press my finger up here up high, that's where we're starting, and we go from there. And then you would slide it down, slide the function down like. Of course, we can't go negative because we're controlling a morph. So let me start down here and go positive. And then it will quickly sort of slide back to the original setting, which is pretty cool. That way, if you want to do a really big pitch bend or whatever, you have a lot of space to do it. So that is the characteristic of scan. Slow scan is the same thing, but it returns to 0 in a slightly slower way. So that is how your ribbon works. And of course, I've been sticking to these relatively staid settings of pitch, but I mean, you certainly could use it for like the master cutoff. And that has more of a bipolar functionality there. But yeah, of course, this is one of those things where I'm like, yeah, here's how it sounds with the filter. Because it could be applied to anything: pulse width modulation, distortion, effects, even like sequencer rate, maybe, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, so the ribbon, again, that's the cool thing about the PolyBrute. You have such extensive control functionality that, you can control a tremendous amount of functionality from the ribbon, and you can have it, stay at the change that you've made, or you can have it whip back immediately to the original setting, or slide back to the original setting, and you could start from the center or start from the sides. It's up to you. So yeah, it's understated. I mean, all it is this weird little trough in the wood. You wouldn't really know that it was such a powerful control function. But yeah, that is the ribbon on the Arturia PolyBrute.